The stellar dawn glided through the darkness of space, its hull absorbing every trace of electromagnetic radiation, like a shadow given form. Commander Elena Santos stood at the observation deck, her augmented eyes scanning the vast emptiness before her. The massive Nexar warship loomed in the distance, its crystalline structure glowing with purple energy, completely unaware of humanity's most advanced vessel barely 2,000 kilometers from its position. Status report on the Nexar communications. Elena's voice carried through the neural link to the bridge crew, her thoughts transformed into crisp commands. Still decoding their latest diplomatic trend. A convenient fiction, Elena replied. While you were busy trying to manipulate what you thought was a young species, we were studying you, learning your weaknesses, preparing for the day when you would inevitably try to add us to your empire. Today, you face the consequences of your assumptions. Through the quantum network, Elena felt the presence of other Ghost Fleet commanders, their ships moving into position around Nexar space. Similar scenes were playing out across the galaxy as humanity revealed its true face to its would-be conquerors. Your empire has subjugated dozens of developing civilizations, Elena continued, forced them into protective oversight, while stealing their resources and stunting their growth. That ends now. Humanity is assuming stewardship of your former protectorates. Your empire will withdraw to its core systems, or we will demonstrate just how far beyond your understanding our technology truly is. The Nexar ships attempted to power up their weapons, their crystalline structures glowing brighter. Elena simply thought the command, and quantum fields wrapped around the alien vessels, containing them in bubbles of altered spacetime. Those fields will hold you for the next 12 hours, she informed them. Use that time to contact your leadership and explain your failure. Explain that humanity is no longer hiding. The galaxy is changing, and your empire's days of unopposed expansion are over. As the Nexar ships hung helpless in space, Elena turned her attention to the incoming data from across human space. Operation Revelation was proceeding exactly as planned. The carefully maintained illusion of human technological inferiority was being stripped away, revealing the true face of human advancement to a stunned galaxy. In her mind, Elena accessed the quantum network, reviewing the reactions from other alien species. Some were panicking, others were already seeking diplomatic contact, and many were simply trying to understand how they had been so thoroughly deceived. The Nexar Empire's response would set the tone for what was to come. Fleet Command is reporting similar successes across all theaters, Marcus announced. The Nexar are attempting to mobilize their main battle groups, but they're discovering that most of their quantum communication relays have been compromised for years. Elena nodded, satisfaction flowing through her neural link to the crew. Send word to the Ghost Fleet. Phase 2 begins in 6 hours. It's time to reshape the galaxy. As the stellar dawn maintained its vigil over the contained Nexar ships, Elena reflected on the decades of preparation that had led to this moment. Humanity had learned from history, both their own and others. They had seen how technological advantages could be used to subjugate and control. They had chosen a different path, developing in secret until they could emerge as a force for change rather than conquest. The game of deception was over. Now began the real challenge, showing the galaxy a better way forward. As Elena watched the stunned Nexar ships through her augmented senses, she knew that the true test of humanity's advancement wouldn't be in their technology, but in how they used it to shape the future of interstellar civilization. The news of humanity's technological revelation spread through the galaxy like a quantum cascade. Admiral James Chen stood in the holographic command center of Earth's hidden Artemis base, watching as thousands of data points flickered across the strategic display. Each light represented a human asset emerging from decades of careful disguise. The Nexar High Command has finally issued their response, reported Strategic Director Sarah O'Connor, her neural interface streaming real-time updates. They're calling for an immediate emergency session of the Galactic Concordat. James allowed himself a grim smile. Of course they are. They want to paint us as the aggressors before the other powers realize just how thoroughly we've infiltrated their societies. He expanded a section of the holographic display, showing the massive movements of Nexar battle fleets. How many of their ships are still using our compromised quantum cores? 87%. Sarah replied, her augmented mind sifting through intelligence feeds. They still haven't realized that their revolutionary quantum breakthrough 3 years ago was our technology, deliberately leaked through third-party traders. The strategic display shifted, highlighting dozens of seemingly innocent human trading posts and research stations scattered throughout alien space. Each one was now revealing its true nature: quantum observation posts, consciousness transfer nodes, and temporal research facilities that had operated undetected for years. Status of Operation Shadow Light? James asked, his attention turning to the larger strategic picture. Proceeding as planned. The Ghost Fleet has secured all primary objectives. The Nexar's attempts to activate their deep space defense networks are failing. They can't understand why their supposedly superior technology won't respond. A priority alert flashed through their neural networks. In the Centauri sector, a Nexar battle group had just attempted to seize a primitive human mining colony. They had found instead a fully armed quantum fortress, its defenses far beyond anything their sensors could comprehend. "They're testing us," James observed, watching as the Nexar ships retreated in disarray. Probing for weaknesses, trying to understand the true extent of our capabilities. He accessed a secure quantum channel. Commander Santos, is the Stellar Dawn in position? Alina's consciousness linked with the command center. Ready to proceed, Admiral. The Nexar still haven't detected our quantum wake signature. They think we're limited to their understanding of faster-than-light travel. Execute Phase 3, James ordered. Show them exactly what they're dealing with. Across human space, carefully hidden quantum beacons activated. The very fabric of space-time shifted as humanity's most advanced technologies came online. On thousands of worlds, the crude facades of human settlements transformed, revealing cities and installations that operated on principles the Nexar had never imagined. The Stellar Dawn led a fleet of ghost ships through the heart of Nexar space, their quantum drives allowing them to appear and disappear at will. Each demonstration was precisely calculated. Awesome enough to prove humanity's superiority, but measured enough to prevent panic. Multiple diplomatic requests incoming, Sarah announced. The Arcturian Confederation and the Vega Alliance are offering immediate recognition of human sovereignty. The Pleiades Network is requesting technological exchange agreements. And the smaller species? James asked, though he already knew the answer. The ones under Nexar protection are watching closely. They've seen how we revealed ourselves. They're beginning to hope. That had always been part of the plan. Humanity hadn't spent decades hiding their true capabilities just to become another galactic bully. They had waited, watched, and prepared to offer a different path forward. Through the quantum network, James accessed footage from across known space. He saw Nexar warships retreating from their former protectorates, their crews struggling to understand how their supposedly invincible empire had been outmaneuvered so completely. He watched as other alien species scrambled to reassess their understanding of humanity, their diplomatic channels buzzing with urgent communications. The Nexar are attempting to access their sealed archives on Proxima II, Sarah reported suddenly. They're looking for any hint of our true capabilities that their researchers might have missed. They won't find anything, James said confidently. Every discovery they made about human technology was carefully crafted. Every weakness they thought they found was deliberately shown to them. We learned from Earth's history. The strong don't need to boast about their strength. A new alert drew their attention. The Stellar Dawn had begun broadcasting on all frequencies, transmitting data packages that had been prepared decades in advance. Each transmission contained carefully selected insights into human technology, enough to prove their advancement, but not enough to be weaponized. Receiving response from the Galactic Concordat, Sarah announced. They're requesting human membership, not as a developing species, but as a full council race. James expanded the diplomatic feed, reading the implications behind the formal request. The other galactic powers weren't just acknowledging human advancement. They were trying to understand how they had been deceived for so long. Through it all, the Ghost Fleet maintained its silent vigil. Quantum-shifted ships patrolled the borders of human space, their very existence a reminder that humanity had chosen to reveal itself, not been forced to do so. "Send word to all commands," James ordered, his decision rippling through the quantum network. "Initiate diplomatic protocols. It's time to show the galaxy that advanced technology doesn't have to lead to oppression. Humanity didn't hide its strength to seek conquest. We hid it so we could emerge ready to change things for the better." As the orders spread through human space, James watched the strategic display shift again. The lights representing Nexar military forces were retreating, their once mighty empire discovering that decades of assumed superiority had left them vulnerable to a species they had gravely underestimated. The deception was over. Now came the harder task, proving that humanity could be both powerful and wise, advanced and compassionate. As James observed the changing galaxy through his augmented senses, he knew that the real challenge was just beginning. The age of hiding was over. The age of responsibility had begun. The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Concordat had never seen such chaos. Ambassador Lyra Chen, humanity's first official representative to the galaxy's governing body, stood calmly at the center of the storm. Around her, representatives of 200 alien species argued, demanded explanations, and tried to comprehend the scope of humanity's deception. The evidence is undeniable. The Arcturian speaker's crystalline form pulsed with agitation. Human quantum technology has been present in our systems for decades. Our most secure facilities, our most advanced research. All observed, all understood. Not just observed, Lyra corrected, her neural augments translating simultaneously for all species present. We protected you. How many times did the Nexar's expansion plans mysteriously fail? How many inexplicable malfunctions prevented them from overwhelming younger species? The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. The Vega representative, a being of pure energy contained in an environmental field, moved forward. "You're claiming responsibility for the Nexar's repeated failures to expand beyond their current borders. Humanity chose to emerge not as conquerors, but as guardians," Lyra explained. "While we hid our true capabilities, we weren't idle. We watched. We protected. We prepared." Through her quantum link, Lyra received real-time updates from across human space. The Stellar Dawn and its sister ships were still maintaining their vigil over key strategic points. Commander Santos was overseeing the dismantling of Nexar suppression systems on a dozen worlds, freeing species that had lived under their shadow for generations. "But your deception." The Pleiadian ambassador's telepathic broadcast carried notes of both fear and admiration. The resources required, the coordination involved. Lyra activated the chamber's holographic systems, displaying a galaxy-wide map of human influence, hidden quantum relays, consciousness transfer networks, temporal observation posts, each point of light representing decades of careful planning. "We learned from Earth's history," she explained. "When technologically advanced societies encounter less developed ones, the results are often tragic. We chose a different path. We advanced in secret, yes, but we used that secrecy to protect, not to dominate." The Nexar representative, speaking for the first time since the session began, raised their crystalline appendages in protest. "You violated every treaty, every agreement." "Treaties signed under false pretenses," Lyra interrupted. "Agreements made while your empire planned to subjugate Earth as you had so many others. We have the records, Ambassador. Every plan, every scheme, every attempt to assess human weaknesses for eventual conquest." More data flowed through her neural link. Admiral Chen was reporting success across all sectors. The Nexar's attempt to rally their forces had failed. Too many of their systems relied on quantum technology they didn't fully understand, technology that had been subtly influenced by human design from the start. What are your demands? The Concordats High Arbiter, a member of the ancient Zixus theory race, brought focus back to the proceedings. Demands. Lyra smiled. We make no demands. We offer a proposal instead. She activated another holographic display, this one showing the true extent of human technological advancement. Humanity is ready to share its knowledge, its discoveries, its protections, but not without conditions. The chamber erupted again, species that had long viewed themselves as galactic powers suddenly facing the reality that they had been technologically surpassed centuries ago. First, Lyra continued, her voice cutting through the chaos. The immediate liberation of all species under protective oversight. Second, the establishment of a new Concordat charter, one that genuinely protects developing civilizations instead of exploiting them. Third, the creation of a technological oversight council, ensuring that advanced technology is used for the benefit of all, not the dominion of a few. Through the quantum network, Lyra felt the approval of Earth's leadership. Decades of planning were coming to fruition. The galaxy was changing, not through conquest or coercion, but through the careful revelation of truth. And if we refuse? The Nexar representative's challenge carried less confidence now. Then humanity will continue its work, but without your participation. We've protected the galaxy in secret for generations. We'd prefer to do it openly, in cooperation with all species, but we don't require your permission. The High Arbiter's ancient eyes studied Lyra carefully. You speak of protection, of guardianship, yet you possess technology that could dominate any species in this chamber. Why should we trust human intentions? Because we could have conquered you at any time over the past century. Lyra replied simply. We chose not to. We chose to watch, to protect, to prepare for this moment. Humanity remembers its own history. The damage that technological superiority can cause when wielded without wisdom. New data streamed through her neural interface. Across the galaxy, more human installations were revealing themselves. Research centers, defense platforms, humanitarian outposts, each designed not to dominate, but to safeguard and support. The age of deception is over, Lyra announced to the chamber. But this isn't a moment for fear. This is an opportunity for genuine cooperation, for the creation of a galaxy where advancement doesn't mean subjugation, where strength is measured not by the ability to dominate, but by the wisdom to protect. As the representatives of 200 species debated humanity's proposal, Lyra felt the quantum network pulse with activity. The Ghost Fleet was still watching, still protecting. But now they did so openly, their presence a reminder that humanity had chosen to use its power not for conquest, but for preservation. The ripples of humanity's revelation would continue to spread, reshaping the galaxy in ways that even their most advanced quantum computers couldn't fully predict. But for the first time, those ripples carried not fear, but hope. Deep within Earth's quantum-shifted archives, Dr. Aisha Rahman moved through endless corridors of accumulated knowledge. Her consciousness, merged with the facility's AI systems, processed centuries of carefully gathered intelligence. As chief archivist of humanity's hidden knowledge network, she had overseen the greatest intelligence operation in galactic history. Security breach detected in Archive Section 7 Delta, the AI reported through their shared neural link. Nexar probe attempting to access historical records. Aisha's consciousness expanded through the defense systems, showing them exactly what we want them to see. Let them waste resources trying to understand how they missed so much. The probe encountered exactly what humanity had prepared. Carefully crafted records that revealed enough to humble, but not enough to threaten. Through her quantum sensors, Aisha observed similar attempts across human space as alien species desperately tried to understand how they had been deceived for so long. Dr. Rahman, a familiar presence, touched her consciousness. The Stellar Dawn requests a data update. Commander Santo's avatar materialized in the archive chamber, her form composed of pure quantum energy. The Nexar are starting to realize just how deeply we've infiltrated their research networks. They're finding our quantum signatures in technology they thought was their own innovation. Aisha accessed the relevant archives, displaying centuries of careful technological manipulation. It was surprisingly simple, she explained. Their arrogance made them blind. We fed them discoveries at exactly the right pace, advanced enough to make them feel superior, but limited enough to keep them from asking too many questions. The display shifted, showing thousands of human operatives who had posed as simple traders, refugees, or technological inferiors. Each had played their part in humanity's grand deception, gathering information while appearing harmless. The Arcturians have officially requested access to our technological database, Santos reported. They're particularly interested in our consciousness transfer networks. Of course they are, Aisha smiled. They still can't believe we solved the quantum consciousness problem centuries before they even discovered its existence. Show them the prepared files, Level 3 access only. Through her neural interface, Aisha monitored the carefully controlled flow of information to various alien species. Each revelation was precisely calculated, designed to demonstrate humanity's advancement while encouraging cooperation rather than fear. New activity in the Vega sector, the AI reported. Their scientists are attempting to reverse engineer captured human technology. Let them try. Aisha accessed the relevant safeguards. Every piece of human technology in alien hands contains quantum locks. They'll learn enough to understand our capabilities, but not enough to weaponize them. The archive chamber filled with holographic displays showing the extent of human knowledge gathering. Trade routes that had secretly carried quantum information, diplomatic missions that had mapped alien defenses, humanitarian projects that had assessed technological capabilities, all part of humanity's hidden web of intelligence. The Pleiades network is offering full access to their scientific archives in exchange for human quantum technology, Santos noted. They're desperate to understand how we achieved such advancement in secret. Aisha's consciousness expanded through the knowledge network, assessing the implications. Show them the truth about their own history. How many of their breakthrough discoveries were subtle nudges from human operatives? How many times did we prevent their research from taking dangerous paths? The displays shifted again, revealing another layer of humanity's influence. Failed weapons programs that had been quietly sabotaged, dangerous experiments that had been subtly discouraged, devastating wars that had been prevented through carefully planted information. Dr. Rahman, a new presence entered the quantum network. Ambassador Chen's consciousness connected from the Galactic Concordat. The Council is ready for the next phase of technological disclosure. Are the archives prepared? Everything is in place, Aisha confirmed. Each species will receive information packages tailored to their current level of development. Enough to advance, but not enough to destabilize their societies. The archive's quantum cores pulsed with activity as centuries of accumulated knowledge began flowing through carefully controlled channels. Humanity had spent generations gathering this information, and now they would use it to guide the galaxy toward a better future. The Nexar are making another attempt to access restricted files, the AI reported. Their quantum decryption systems are operating at full capacity. Let them exhaust themselves. Aisha monitored the attempt with mild amusement. Every failed attempt teaches them the same lesson. Humanity's technological superiority isn't just about advanced equipment. It's about how we chose to use our knowledge. Through the quantum network, she could sense the growing frustration of alien intelligence services. They had spent centuries believing they were monitoring a primitive species, never realizing that their own most secure networks had been compromised from the start. New data coming in from the Ghost Fleet, Santos reported. The liberation of suppressed worlds is proceeding faster than expected. Many species are eager to learn once they understand they're no longer under Nexar control. Aisha began preparing the educational packages that would help these freed species develop responsibly. Humanity had learned harsh lessons from its own history about the dangers of rapid technological advancement without proper guidance. The knowledge vault is ready, she announced to both Santos and Chen. Humanity spent centuries gathering this information. Now we'll spend centuries sharing it, carefully, responsibly, ensuring that knowledge leads to wisdom rather than destruction. As the archives continued their work, Asia felt the quantum network pulse with activity. Across the galaxy, species that had once dismissed humanity as primitive were beginning to understand the truth. Knowledge was power, but the real strength lay in knowing when and how to use it. 1 year after humanity's revelation, the Sol system had become the center of a transformed galaxy. The massive quantum station Unity hung in Earth orbit, its crystalline structures housing representatives from hundreds of species. Inside its grand observation dome, Admiral James Chen stood with Commander Elena Santos and Ambassador Lyra Chen, watching vessels from across the galaxy arrive for the signing of the new Concordat. The Nexer delegation has just transitioned into the system, Elena reported, her augmented senses tracking the arriving ships. Their fleet is exactly as specified in the diplomatic protocols. No hidden weapons, no quantum signatures we haven't authorized. How the mighty have fallen, James observed, though there was no mockery in his tone. Their empire spent centuries believing they were the peak of evolution. Now they're learning to be part of a larger community. Through the quantum network, they monitored the unprecedented gathering of species. Former enemies sat together in Unity's chambers, discussing cooperation instead of conquest. Races that had once been subjugated now stood as equals, their development guided by humanity's carefully shared knowledge. Dr. Rahman reports that the first phase of technological integration is complete. Lyra added, her neural interface streaming updates from Earth's archives. 57 species have successfully incorporated basic quantum technology into their infrastructure, all under careful observation, of course. The observation dome's displays showed the extent of change across known space. The Nexer's former protectorates were flourishing under their new freedom, their societies advancing with humanity's guidance. The Ghost Fleet had transformed from a hidden force into an open peacekeeping armada, its ships ensuring that no species would again rise to dominate others. The Arcturians are requesting permission to establish a joint research facility in the Proxima system, Elena noted. Their consciousness transfer theories are starting to approach our level of understanding. Approve it, James decided, but maintain the standard oversight protocols. We're sharing our knowledge to elevate, not to enable new forms of oppression. Unity's quantum cores pulsed as more delegations arrived. The station itself was a testament to humanity's new approach. Built with technology from a dozen worlds, its very existence proving that cooperation was possible even among former adversaries. The galactic core worlds have ratified the technology sharing protocols, Lyra reported. Even the species that initially resisted are starting to understand our perspective. They've seen how we used our advancement to protect rather than conquer. Through the station's sensors, they watched as ships from across known space moved in careful formation. The Stellar Dawn led a mixed fleet of human and alien vessels, their synchronized movements demonstrating the new era of cooperation. Message from Earth Command. Elena's consciousness merged with the station's communications array. The quantum beacon network is fully operational. For the first time in galactic history, we have real-time communication and monitoring across all settled systems. James expanded the tactical display, showing the network of quantum relays that now connected the galaxy. Each point of light represented not just communication, but protection. Humanity's promise to prevent the rise of new empires built on oppression. The signing ceremony begins in 1 hour, Lyra reminded them. Every major species in known space, gathering to formally recognize a new way forward. The station's grand chamber had been prepared for this historic moment. Representatives from hundreds of worlds would witness the creation of a new galactic order, one based not on dominance, but on mutual growth and protection. To think, Elena mused, a year ago we were still hiding our true nature. Now we're reshaping the very fabric of galactic society. Not reshaping, James corrected, guiding. Earth's history taught us the difference between imposing change and nurturing it. We spent centuries preparing not just our technology, but our wisdom. Through the quantum network, they sensed the ripples of transformation spreading across space. Species that had once feared each other were learning to cooperate. Civilizations that had been stunted by oppression were flowering under careful guidance. The galaxy was changing, not through force, but through understanding. The Pleiades delegation is requesting final confirmation of the knowledge-sharing protocols, Lyra reported. They're particularly interested in our methods of technological assessment and ethical development. Share the full archives on that topic, James decided. Let them understand why we chose to hide our advancement for so long, why we waited until we could emerge not as conquerors, but as guardians. Unity's quantum cores hummed with activity as the ceremony approached. In chambers throughout the station, species that had once been bitter enemies now sat together, planning joint ventures and shared discoveries. The Nexar representatives, stripped of their former arrogance, were learning to contribute to a galaxy they had once sought to dominate. It's time, Elena announced as the chamber's doors began to open. Representatives from across Gnome space filed in, their diverse forms a testament to the variety of life humanity had sworn to protect. As James prepared to address the gathered species, he felt the weight of centuries of human preparation. They had hidden their strength not out of fear, but out of responsibility. They had watched, learned, and prepared for this moment, when humanity could finally step forward, as the guardians they had always meant to be. The new dawn had arrived, not just for humanity, but for all sentient life. As the signing ceremony began, the quantum network pulsed with possibility. The age of empires was over. The age of cooperation had begun.